What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for another edition of the weekly sports card market update. Recording this one prior to going live. I have a Saturday Night Live scheduled with one Mr. Gemrate and Denny of Denny Cards over on Instagram to kind of talk end of the year grading. As we had Gemrate's recap for the 2024 year that was in grading, coming in at 20 million slabs. Did a video on that if you want a full breakdown, and we probably had a lively discussion about it, but that actually hasn't happened yet. But for all you all, it has happened. So one of those weird timey-wimey things in the content space. This week, we got a few little odds and ends and news stories to talk about. Probably not a ton of charts and graphs. There's honestly, we're kind of in a weird period right now as we're getting ready to go into the NFL playoffs. Basketball is just starting to heat up, and baseball, we are dead in the middle of the off season. So there hasn't been a lot of price movement one way or the other on players. I do plan on, and part of the reason why there won't be a lot of charts and graphs on this one, I will probably do a big football breakdown sometime this week, probably middle of the week, most likely, looking back at the entire NFL season like we typically do this time of year to see what, if any, cards or players went up versus what went down. Spoilers, it'll probably be a bloodbath. I actually don't know. I haven't even done a sneak peek at those charts yet, but that is typically the way that it goes. Before we get into the news, shout out to today's channel partner, ComC.com, sponsor of the weekly sports card market update. Your home for buying, selling. You can do all sorts of stuff over there. I know I've been talking about it for weeks, just shipped them off a rather large box of cards. There will be a video on that in the future, showing off everything that I sent in, but I sent probably close to 400 cards in the ComC just recently to sell on the platform. All stuff in that like $1.50, $2 range, on up to $10-15. That's usually the stuff that I like to send into them to move, because I am just too busy and don't have the time to deal with it. So I will gladly pay ComC their little commission to handle it for me. And then, like you've seen on the channel over the years, I send all that stuff in, build up a little war chest, and then go on a small shopping spree. It was funny when I was reviewing a lot of the cards that I purchased this year for my end of year video. A lot of them came off ComC. They really did. Like the Gandolfini auto came off ComC. The Favreau autos came off ComC. My Patrick Stewart auto came off ComC. And some of the other stuff were all purchases from ComC that I use ComC credit on. So, shout out to them. Go get some stuff in. They will be at the Dallas show upcoming middle of the month here if you want to do a drop-off rather than mail-in. First up, let's talk a little Topps. This was going around social the last couple of days, and I actually was impacted by this to a degree. There's kind of two different things happening, and I don't know if they're linked together or not. One, there was a bunch of emails going out for people getting orders canceled, whether it was for pre-release product like Midnight that people had put orders in for, Topps Now cards people had put orders in for, all sorts of stuff. Basically, everybody was getting cancellation emails for essentially anything they order within the last few days. It appears that was a glitch. Topps sent out this messaging to people saying, nothing to see here, everything's fine, we were doing some site updating. The other thing that was happening that I have not seen any chatter on yet, but I assume it's related to this, I got a bunch of emails about Topps points, because if you purchase stuff on Topps.com and you have an account, you get loyalty points and you could use those for coupons and nonsense or whatever. I got a bunch of emails about that stuff. Like, hey, congratulations, you earned points. Congratulations, you earned points. And I haven't bought anything, probably in about a month since Sapphire. I have not bought anything, so I thought I was all current on points, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. There was a Twitter thing going around for a hot minute on Saturday about people saying that they were scam emails because the email address that they were coming from was not correct. That actually proved to be not true, or at least it appears to not be true. I actually looked back at my old Topps now, or Topps loyalty reward point emails, because they were still in my trash can. And the ones from months ago that are legitimate match up with the same email address as the ones that these came from. So I assume it's tied into this. So if you had orders canceled, just log into your Topps account. Don't click any links in emails, and double check to see if your orders are still live. They appear to be. But it just seems like this was some site update nonsense that caused a bunch of havoc. January 1st, we kind of hit on this briefly earlier in the week, didn't do a standalone video on it, but mentioned it in my look ahead. WWE and Topps are now official. So wrestling cards will now all be Topps. There will be a Topps Chrome set, I believe, coming fairly soon. I am sure that will be very popular. I'm not going to lie. Pour one out for Panini WWE on this one. I really enjoyed some of the Panini WWE cards. Now, I never ripped wax. I never opened product. I really liked Immaculate Autos. A lot of the WWE autos that you've seen on the channel over the last couple of years were all immaculate. I thought they did a really nice job with that set, with photography and with the autos that they got. So I'm going to be sad to see that go. Like I said, I never really opened the product, but from a single standpoint, I really like them. Hopefully Topps does some cool stuff with the license. I'm a sucker for a nostalgia play on an Attitude Era superstar that I would like an auto on. Though I have most of the ones that I want. I think the big one that I would want out of guys that I don't have is one, The Rock. And I specifically would like that card from the early 2000s. I don't have a Triple H auto, and I would like to get a Triple H auto at some point in time. So we'll see what WWE Chrome goes for. I am sure Topps Chrome WWE will be hyped to hell and back again. Speaking of Topps, I talked about this earlier in the week, but the market has settled in a little bit. These 2025 Topps Disney Genesis boxes, which were 1 pack per box, went up for $100, which is an absolute disaster all around. The website was down for 2 hours. It came back up at 2 o'clock, and the product sold out in about 60 seconds. Unfortunately, my stupid ass, that was the 3 minutes that I chose to walk upstairs and get some lunch. I walk upstairs, I come back downstairs, and I see everyone on Twitter yelling about how they were sold out already and that it was working, and I missed. Such is life. But instantly to $500. These settled in at $500 pretty quickly. It took about a day or so for the market to find its floor. Absolute disaster of a product launch. Absolute massive win if you landed this product. I'm not going to lie. If I got a single box of these, I would probably sell it at the $500 price and not open it at $100. If I got multiples, I would open one just for the channel and then sell any extras that I got. I think I was trying to get 3. The $100 price point was just way too cheap for a first Disney product out the line. This is Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar. That is a ton of huge characters. I can already see breakers hyping this thing to the moon and back again. Big Disney characters that are low numbered are probably going to get pumped and sell for astronomical sums of money. It just kind of is what it is. The first full Marvel release will still be coming supposedly at the end of January, though I've talked to shops and no one has been allocated for it yet, and that is the X-Men Topps Finest set, X-Men 97. I do plan on, well, assuming that the previews are not absolute disasters, I would like to open some of that product. I adore X-Men and I adore X-Men 97. So hopefully those boxes are priced relatively reasonably. If they're priced decently, I would love to rip an entire case of it. We'll just have to see. I'll have to see what pricing looks like. Maybe I can get one locally. I don't know. We'll have to just see what things how things play out with that. But hopefully it goes a lot better than this release did. Now that product will not be as limited. I do not expect boxes to go as crazy as this one has. In grading news, Beckett made some moves this week. Well, not necessarily on the card grading side. This was an article by Ben Burrows over at Collect. Came out right after the new year. Basically, Beckett locked up its authentication team to long-term contracts. These are the people that do autograph authentications A lot of them have a ton of experience. Listen, I can sit here and trash Becket for the way that they handle their card grading division, but when it comes to autograph authentication, they do have a very talented team of people over there, and they locked them down. So that seems to be at least one of the core things that they are doubling down on is the autograph authentication market. I know that they do go to a ton of different shows and do stuff. So Becket and their newfound pocket change seem to be putting it to work to lock up some key talent. Now, we'll see what they do on the traditional grading card side of things. What kind of thing, how that money trickles out onto that side, we don't know yet. We'll have to see how that plays out as we move throughout 2025. More grading stuff. January 1st, beginning of a new month. That means new PSA specials. Nothing super crazy here. $18 for $400 or under, $19.90 to present. I do believe that is mixed, so you could do sports and non-sports. There's a value turbo and a value plus. That's about it. Pretty bare bones. And to be quite honest, they don't need to be running a good special right now. They are slammed. I was looking at reports on blowout of orders taking a couple of weeks just to get checked in from time of delivery. I know I could speak for myself on this. I sent off that 12 card special. It arrived on December 23rd. I am recording this on January 4th, and it still has not been checked in yet. Now, to be fair to them, there were a ton of holidays in there. That arrived the day before Christmas Eve. Christmas in there, New Year's in there. I'm sure they had some half days, some full days off. So I am not super surprised that it has not been checked in yet. Hopefully by this time next week, the order is checked in and then that clock can get ticking on those. I also sent in a single card order. Spoilers for an upcoming video. I won't mention the card. It's probably not hard to figure out what it is. But I did send in a single card order at regular service, which is the $75 tier. That actually got delivered earlier today. So that has not even showed up in PSA yet as being received, but I expect it to tonight or probably Monday, just depending on how they check things in. But that was delivered to their PO box today. And we'll see how long that one takes. Since that's a regular order, I'm hoping that gets checked in a little faster and hoping that that makes it through the process a little bit quicker. We'll see. But that is a one card order. I'd like to get that one back in hand fairly quickly. A few little other odds and ends of things. One of the Otani Topps Dynasty have been pulled from 50/50 boxes. Remember, I opened a couple of these on the channel. Buyer beware on these. These packs are so easily searchable. What I don't know is if this is a redemption or live, because one, this person has it in hand already, and two, I mean, yeah, it's showing him with a card, and that's in its little box. So I don't know if he pulled the redemption and immediately redeemed it because they had these ready to rock and roll. So he got it super fast, just didn't post about it until he got the card. This is the first one that we've seen, and it wasn't pulled on camera. So I don't know if it was an actual redemption or like a single card pack with just a mag in it. I don't know. So 1 out of 3 have been pulled. The Logo Man is the big one. That one is still out in the wild, but really nice looking card on that. That will be a absolute monster. And remember, that is game used stuff from the game he hit his 50th home run in. In Panini nonsense news, yeah, we had all the stuff with the fake patches in yesterday's video. This is their new insert. Uptowns. Boy, oh boy, tell me you're out of ideas and you are at the end of the rope and just throwing things at the wall because you were on your way out the door. This is the biggest case of senioritis I have ever seen in my life. Uptown inserts. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. These are going to be in Donruss Clearly, or Clearly Donruss, whatever. And this is going to be one of the new chases as they continue to water down downtowns and kabooms on their way out the door. They did those jumbo downtowns in those Costco boxes. They had Kaboom Advent calendars, just continuing to water down 2 of their actual special inserts that people really like to chase and just throwing them everywhere. We'll see what these Uptown sell for and what more look like, but I don't know. It's just, we can't come up with anything new. I know coming up with new things is not easy, but this just feels like we're at the end of the line. A couple things I did want to look at in market movers before we kind of wrap things up here. Link in the description of the video. If you want to check out market movers, you can get a 14-day free trial and 20% off for life. The 50/50 boxes. We talked about these a little bit ago on the Ohtani poll. Box prices on these have come down a little bit. They are now sitting in the $350 range, down from their $400 range when they first hit eBay. They had spiked up to almost $500 at one point in time during the pre-order process. But like I said, they have come down all the way almost to $350 in some cases, and they're just not a good rip. The base cards are pretty cheap. There's been tons of them that have been damaged. Now, I personally did not have that problem per se. My SP that I hit that was packaged in the separate bag was damaged. It had a dinged corner. I ended up selling that card as is. I just listed it at 99-cent auction and let it rip. It went for almost $300. So I did okay on the one box. The other box I got smoked on that I just got the unnumbered refractor. That refractor sold for like $40, I think, at auction, $45. But I was surprised the SP went that high. So I think people are chasing sets on this because the single base cards are actually selling for like $1 or $2, anywhere from $1 to $3 to $4 for just the base cards. So it does feel like people are chasing sets. I saw a few sets selling online, like already completed. People probably ordered cases of these to rip, selling for a decent chunk of money. So I do think people are chasing sets a little bit on this. I sent all mine into spoilers. All mine went into ComC. I thought about just trying to sell them as a lot, and then I just didn't feel like dealing with it. It's probably a mistake to do that. We'll find out, because as more and more hit the market, the prices on those will probably fall. But I ended up sending mine off to ComC. We'll see how they do. I probably won't make a ton of profit on it. Maybe like 50 cents to $1 per card if I'm lucky. So I ended up doing okay on those. I got the video. I got 300 plus for the SP. I got $40 for the refractor. I probably broke even just on those couple of things right there. And then not counting what I'll be able to sell the base cards off for. I would have been better off, obviously, just straight flipping the wax, but it wasn't an actual disaster opening from a resale standpoint. It wasn't fantastic, but I got smoked way harder on my Topps Chrome Update Jumbo box than I did on the Ohtani 50/50s. That being said, I don't think it's a good product. I wouldn't open it. There's tons of issues with it. And for the love of God, steer clear of loose packs. Last but not least, one box that is getting a little bit of heat, and it is one that I'm also familiar with. I got two of these and ripped them both. That is the Topps Update Sapphire Edition. These have been creeping up lately, all the way up to over $700 now. On release, they were under $300. They initially hit the secondary market around $600, so they're up a good 30% from release date. Good product. I don't think they printed a ton of these. The thing that's really good about it, and I mentioned this in the video when I opened them, the checklist on the regular cards is large and vast. That one's a little dangerous. However, the auto checklist is pretty short. I think there's only 30 names on it. And with the way that this draft class was this year, or this rookie class rather was this year, it's a pretty loaded checklist. So you actually have a decent shot at pulling a good name. Now, at $700 plus per box, do I think it's worth it? No, probably not. But the way that the product's designed with the checklist, with the autos, it's pretty solid from that perspective. But the problem, like I said, the problem is that the base set checklist, you have a high potential to get smoked on. So it really all comes down to that auto slot. That's all I really got for you on the sports card side of things. I will just mention, I did a poll on this, and I was actually surprised. The no won about 70-30. I asked if I should kind of sprinkle in some more Pokemon talk on the channel in regards to videos, and I've done it before. maybe like a video a month here or there, if that. I'm probably going to do a couple of videos on it. It's not going to be like a regular thing, but I do plan on at least touching on it. Pokemon right now is absolutely insane. I talked to multiple dealers this weekend that were set up at various shows across the country, and all of them gave reports back about A, more Pokemon being in shows, B, more people looking for Pokemon at shows, and C, the dealers that had Pokemon just absolutely crushing it. The sealed market, which is the one that I pay attention to, is Looney Tunes on fire right now. I mean, it is absolutely insane. We are talking about COVID level craziness on the sports card side of things. Like, prices are literally jumping up on boxes, in some cases hourly. Like, you look at the price in the morning, and later in the day it's $25 to $50 more per box across the board. Inventory is just getting gobbled up right now. So I may do some sort of Pikachu and Charizard video later this week to kind of discuss it. But I just kind of wanted to touch on that here since I ran the poll over on the community page. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. Everybody have a fantastic week. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.